Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Swami Narayan, Namaste. Today we're going to be looking at the Nrisimha Poorva Tapaniya Upanishad. We're actually going to be doing this in a few videos, I think. Not that it's very long, but it's divided into sections, and to keep the clarity of the ideas, if you watch this enough, I like to break things up, and I'd rather have a shorter video than a longer one. So I do want to mention that this particular Upanishad is sometimes combined with another one, and they're both listed as the Nrisimha Tapaniya Upanishad, but my publisher, for whatever reason, broke them up, which has actually been done by other publishers. If you're not immediately familiar with this, you might be under a different name. I don't know the historical reasoning behind breaking it or what. You can look that up on your own. Instead, I'm just going to dive in here into what is called the first Upanishad. Bhagavan Narasimha, who is partly human and partly lion, shines as Parabrahma with Rutha, the discipline of the visible world, and Satya, basic truth. He appears with two colors, black and golden red. His nature is to go up, and he has a very terrible and fearsome stare, but he is a Sankara, doing good to people. He is called Nila Lohita, that being he who is red and black, because his neck is black and the top of it is red. In another of his aspects, he is Umapati, the husband of Uma, and Pasupati, the lord of all beings. He holds the bow called Pinaka and has great luster. He is the god of all knowledge. He is god of all beings. He is the lord of all Vedas. He is the boss of Brahma, and he is praised by the Yajurveda. One should know the praise of Samaveda of him. Those who know that will attain the deathless state. Thus ends the first Upanishad. This is the second Upanishad. Devas were afraid of death, sins, and family life. They approached Prajapati. He told them about the Narasimha mantra, which is the king of all mantras, written in Ashtup meter. Because of this, they won victory over death. They won over all sins, and also destroyed the problems of family life. So any of those who are afraid of death, sins, and family life should get themselves taught Narasimha mantra, which is called the king of mantras, and which is written in the Anushtup meter. They all would win over death and win over sin, as well as problems due to family life. This is the mantra in English. My salutations to that Nrisimha who is fierce, who is heroic, who is Mahavishnu, who is burning, who has faces everywhere, who is half lion and half man, who is fearful, who is safe, who is death and deathless. He is called fierce because by his power he creates, looks after, destroys, and elevates without a break, and also attracts all devas and beings. Om, Lord Narasimha, you who is being praised by me, please give me perennial happiness even when I am in this body which is not permanent. Let your soldiers kill all my enemies who are different from me. He is also called heroic, because by his power he makes all worlds, all devas, all beings, and allows them to take rest and also create. He helps them grow and attracts without any break these devas and all beings. He is behind every action, very capable, mountain-like, and one who fulfills the desires of devas. He is the Mahavishnu because he pervades in all the worlds and makes all the world pervade, similar to the fatty gum that spreads in all meat, from this side to that, and also from that side to the other side. There is nothing in the world that is not him. He is pervading in all things in the world. He is the leader of the souls. Worship of souls is called his worship. He exists in all the three shining things, the moon, the sun, and fire. He is called burning because he makes the entire world, which includes all devas, and all beings, and all shine because of his luster, and he also shines in them and makes them release flames. He is the one who created the world and makes it rapidly multiply. He is the one who shines because of his own luster, and also makes others shine. He spreads heat throughout the world and makes the world swelter. He also gives his rays everywhere and makes them release rays. He has a personality which causes only good. He gives only that which is good, and he is good. He is said to have faces everywhere, because he sees everywhere without having any organs. He is able to hear everything. He is able to go everywhere. He is able to attract everything, and also because he is spread everywhere and exists everywhere. In the beginning he was alone, and has become all these things now. Those who rule over the world come from him. In the end, everything goes back and merges into him. I salute him who has faces everywhere. Among all animals, the most fearsome and also the most special is the lion. That is why the god of the universe took birth as Nrisimha. That deathless form became one which does good to the entire world. That is why he is called half man and half lion. That Mahavishnu who has this fearsome form does not cause fear among his devotees. He is being worshipped and praised by them. He is the one who travels all over the earth, and also one who lives on the mountain top. In this form of Trivikrama, he measured all the world in 3 steps. He is called fearful, because all the crowds of devas and all beings and all the worlds run away from him in fear. But he is not afraid of anything. The wind blows because it is afraid of him. The sun rises above because it is afraid of him too. It is because of fear for him that the god of fire, Indra, and the god of death do their work. He is also called safe because he is good things personified, because he forever shines giving good things, because he makes others shine, because he is superior, and because he does very good things. Om Devas, we have to hear with our ears about this Bhadram. Om, those of you who are fit to be worshipped, we have to see with our eyes that Bhadram. Om, let us live as much as the gods live with healthy organs and healthy bodies, praising and singing him. He is called death and deathless, because just by mere thought of his devotees, he destroys death and ultimately death to them. He is one who gives the knowledge of the soul and also who gives strength. All devas bow before him and praise him. Let us satisfy him by offering him food through the fire sacrifice, because even his shadow is nectar, and he is the death which destroys death. He is worshipped by the chanting of Namami, or I salute him, because he is being worshipped by all beings who have forsaken this world, and all those who swear by Brahman, and also because the Lord of the Vedas worship him, telling these words. Indra, Mitra, Ayama, and all other devas exist in him. I was born before this world, which is pretty and orderly. I existed even before the devas. I am the central power of that which never dies. He who gives me in my form as food for people in charity becomes the one who protects the soul. If given without understanding this, I who am food eat the one who eats. I am the one who becomes all the world and destroys it. My light is like that of a sun who, standing alone, gives light to all the world. This Upanishad says that one who understands this attains salvation. Thus ends the 2nd Upanishad. So anyone who follows ISKCON is familiar with who we're talking about. I wanted to mention one technical note. It gave the mantra at the beginning. My salutations to that who is Nrisimha, who is fierce, etc., etc. In modern spirituality, we tend to talk about mantras in many ways, shapes, and forms. I am of the belief there are 2 types of mantras. There is the mantra that you just repeat. It is a phrase. I am happy. I am happy. I am happy. Or today will be a good day. Or something like that. It's a uplifting thing. Then there are mantras in Sanskrit. We all know the most basic one. Om. And you just repeat it. Om. Om. Etc., etc., or the Gayatri mantra, or there's tons of mantras in Sanskrit. So you often see in spiritual circles a mix and match, like, oh, you can chant Om, you can also chant this. They even will say that you can kind of make up your own mantra. You can chant anything you want. I actually have a friend whose Kwanzai mantra after going to court is, today I won't get in a fight. Today I won't get in a fight. Today I won't get in a fight. It works. He hasn't got in a fight. I know others who are like, I feel good about myself. I feel good about myself. Now I chant Sanskrit mantras. Om Shri Swaminarayanaya Namaha. You always hear me open my videos with Om Namo Narayanaya, and I always end them with the Hare Krishna mantra. I believe that a mantra in Sanskrit, whatever it is, and one of these feel-good mantras are not quite the same. Because Sanskrit, in my belief, is a magical language. It is not just words on a page. It is not just words that are spoken, that are weird and sound weird and are hard to pronounce. They actually hold power. I truly believe that Sanskrit is a magical language. You read about this in ancient books like the Ramayana, where Rama had weapons, and to make the weapons work, he didn't pull a trigger, he chanted a mantra. Om, blah, 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 and then it would work. You see mantras used in sacrifices. You see mantras used all the time before the Kali Yuga. There was a reason for that, because they had power. You can't just say, Om gun shoot, gun shoot, gun shoot. That doesn't have power. But pre-Kali Yuga, a mantra was a Sanskrit phrase that held power. There are people who say those weapons don't exist, but that's for another time. So, chanting a mantra that is just in English or your native tongue, whatever that is, may make you feel good. But when you chant in Sanskrit, you are actually chanting a magical language. I saw a video recently on this Christian talking about the New Age movement. You know, the Hare Krishnas, they said. Yeah, not exactly. And they said all these Hindus, they just chant these mantras. The whole point, this is what the woman said, and she's a Christian minister who supposedly had studied this. She said the whole point is just to put yourself in a hypnotic state. That's it. No, that's not actually really the point for me, and I don't really know anyone who believes mantras are just about to zonk yourself out. We chant these mantras because they have power, because they're the name of God. Om Shri Swaminarayanaya Namaha is the name of an avatar of Krishna. Om Ganapataya Namaha is the name of Lord Ganesha. We don't just chant these to knock ourselves out like a drug trip. We chant these because there is power here and we are calling upon these beings to be in our life. So it was totally wrong hearing her say that these were just words, just like any other word. Om, no fight day. This is a no fight day. Om, no fight day. They're not words. They're powerful, and it really, it was like, that is misinformation. If you think we're just here trying to get some drug trip using words, and if we chant something 3 hours, then we're like, and that's the whole point. No, it's not. Because we're using things which are innately valuable. I don't know how you could have studied Sanskrit, supposedly to the extent she did, and not know that the language is magical. In this text, it says the mantra. Now, you are free to read this mantra. It may make you feel good. It may be awesome. And yes, the Lord will hear any mantra in any language. But if you are looking for the authentic mantra, I would recommend that you hunt up the Sanskrit and learn the Sanskrit. I personally believe when I recite the Sanskrit, it has more power, but it also makes me feel different. If I said, Om Shri Ganapataya Namaha, that's one thing. If I said, Om Elephant God Namaha, or Om Elephant God, I praise you, it doesn't have the same feeling for me. I studied Zen for a while at the San Francisco Zen Center, and we would meditate every day, and we would chant. All of us thought this was so cool. And some people, though, they were like, oh no, I don't want to read the Sanskrit, I want to read the English. And others were like, no, I want to read the Sanskrit. It was really interesting. So you do what you feel good with. But I truly believe that if you want the authentic experience and you want something a step above, you're going to go to the Sanskrit, because it is magical. It is a magical language. That being said, I mentioned that the magic of Sanskrit was pre-Kali Yuga. We are clearly not in the pre-Kali Yuga, so the question may then arise, well, does the words still have magic? I believe, yes, kind of. I believe we've lost some of the magic in the world, but I believe we need to continue saying the words to not let what is left die. It still has something. The gods are still happy when they hear their name called, when they hear their language spoken. And why would we not want to pleasure them? Even if a lot of the world says they don't exist, or they're figments, or whatever, or they're just mythology. As I saw in another video, it's just all mythology, all of this. I believe they're still here and they want to hear the words, so let's do them the honor of keeping their tradition alive. There's probably more I could say on this, but my video is running a little long. And I'm just going to close it there, and we will pick up this Upanishad in the next video. So thank you for listening to my rambles, as always. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swaminarayan, and we end with the mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.